You've probably heard of Angkor Wat, but you may not realize that Siem Reap is a really cool city all by itself, and a lot of people really enjoy visiting and living there.
Honestly, I wasn't that excited to visit the city. I was super excited to visit Angkor Wat, but once we spent time in Siem Reap, I loved it, and now I can't wait to go back.
Siem Reap is located in northwest Cambodia. It's a population of about 140,000 people, and it's the fifth largest city in Cambodia. It's called a resort town because it has so many hotels and resorts for the massive throngs of tourists who come to visit the temples of Angkor each year.
They have two currencies. The official currency of Cambodia is the riel, but it's also pegged to the US dollar, which made it really easy for us since we have still been carrying some dollars with us. It's 4,000 riel to $1, and you can use both currencies, although you'll probably get change in riel.
You might be wondering what the best time of year to visit is because it is in the tropics, and April and May are actually the hottest months. It's sweltering hot then and humid. The wet season is from June to October, so that's probably not the best times to go. We went during the dry season, which is November to March. It wasn't that hot or that humid, and it wasn't that crowded.
We picked the perfect time. We actually flew in on Christmas Day, so it was not crowded like JP said. There weren't a ton of tourists, but the weather was just beautiful. It was still warm, don't get me wrong. I was still a little hot and sweaty, but we were able to walk around and really enjoy ourselves.
All right, Amelia, let's talk about what we loved about Siem Reap. And I gotta say, I really liked how calm and relaxing it was, especially after we had just come from Bangkok, which is such a big, busy, hustling city. And then we came to Siem Reap, which is like a nice, calm and relaxing town. I really enjoyed that.
They have a nice new airport. It was really easy to navigate, although it was pretty empty on Christmas Day. But we could tell that they are gearing up for a lot more tourism in that area.
Yeah, we did apply for our tourist visa ahead of time. It took us about 2 days to get it. The e-visa system online was super easy and efficient to use. They do have visa on arrival, at least for now. They had a kiosk system set up outside customs, and there was a long line for that. Since we had our visas printed out, we just cruised right through customs. I think we were through there in less than 2 minutes. It was super easy. So we definitely recommend that you get your visa online ahead of time.
The airport's located about an hour drive into town, which is a little bit far. However, the drive-in was really pretty and we got to see a beautiful sunset. Siem Reap is a small city. It's actually a lot bigger than I was anticipating. I guess I had it in my head that it was just going to be a little tiny tourist town, but it isn't. However, it was really easy to get around.
It's still developing, and Cambodia is still developing, but they have spent a lot of money on new roads, sidewalks, street lights. They have some nice walking bridges over the river. So they've definitely been investing a lot in their infrastructure there, and you can really see it. But it is still a developing country, so you're going to have to get used to some of that.
It is extremely affordable there. We were really kind of surprised by how much more affordable it was. I think this is the cheapest place we've been throughout our travels, including living in Ecuador.
Yeah, definitely. And somebody just commented on our Bangkok video that Bangkok is cheaper than Cambodia. We completely disagree with that based on at least in Siem Reap, it was extremely affordable. We met an Irish guy recently, and he told us he judges cost of living based on how much a pint of beer costs. And he said that Cambodia by far is the cheapest place because you can get a pint of beer for 50 cents. And we can confirm that. We were having lunch downtown on Pub Street, and we were paying a whole dollar for a pint of beer. And we were sitting there and we looked across the street. There was a sign that said a pint of beer for 50 cents.
Yeah, and you can get lunch for a couple of dollars at local places, and you can get a really nice multi-course dinner for 2 people, and that's going to run you around $20 to $25. That's not including any alcohol or anything, but very affordable.
Speaking of great food, they grow lots of cashews in Cambodia. They have huge cashew plantations there, and it's some of the best cashews I've ever had in my life, and they're actually really affordable. I guess I'm not surprised since they grow them all so close by.
Yeah, if you love cashews, that is the place to go.
That's my favorite nut by far. And I've had the olive catastrophe from Greece, and now I'm having the cashew catastrophe where I'm just eating way too many of them.
They are pretty addictive. The food there was really, really good. I mean, delicious. I am a big fan now of Cambodian cuisine, but they do have other types of food there too.
Yeah, we really like the amok and the loklok. Is that right?
Yep.
So I'm probably pronouncing those wrong, but those were delicious. So I had them different kinds at different places. It was really good.
Yeah, the food is really high quality. They have delicious produce as well. And they have a variety, like I said. And if you want like vegetarian or vegan, they have organic, farm to table. You can find a lot of different options there.
Yeah, we ate dinner at this really cool farm to table place. It was pretty much like a line waiting out the place. We got there just in time to sit down because then they started turning people away. But they had a vegetable garden right there and they grow a lot of their own produce right on the restaurant premises. That's so cool.
It was delicious.
We found the people to be very friendly and happy. I feel like a broken record. We keep saying this everywhere we go in Southeast Asia, and it's really true. And we saw people just walking down the street, smiling, riding their motorcycles. People were just smiling by themselves. I really liked that about Cambodia.
It's also very family friendly. We saw families with little babies that are living there and family groups of tourists, but also older people out walking around. So it's a very safe area. It is inclusive and it is safe. And we felt really safe walking around day and night.
And speaking of walking around, we walked a lot. Like I said, they have some nice new sidewalks, so it's pretty easy to walk along the river and around Pub Street, which is where the tourist center of Siem Reap is located. And there's night markets, so it was easy to walk between and around to get to the different night markets. So we actually walked quite a bit while we were there.
We did, but we also took the Grab tuk-tuks, which is my new favorite thing. They are super fun to take. It's really cheap to do. What do they cost, like $1?
Yeah, it was like $1 to $1.50 for most of the Grab tuk-tuks. And we did take one that wasn't through Grab, and he charges $3. And then the next time we went to the same place, and it was $1 on Grab. So we know that we got a little bit of price gouging there, but still, I mean, $3.
Yeah.
We recommend using the Grab app throughout your travels in Southeast Asia to make sure that you're going to the right place and that you get the best rate.
Yeah, it was a really, really good deal and super easy. They're always available, so we only had to wait for a few minutes. There weren't as many bugs as I was expecting. Actually, that's been true for our whole time in Southeast Asia. I think I've only had like 4 bug bites, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, they're not bad at all. Maybe it's because of those giant bats eating them, Amelia.
That could be.
We'll talk more about that in just a second. We also found the internet and the electricity to be stable. It's one of the few places we've been so far that didn't have any power outages while we were there.
No power outages, and no bouncing internet.
Yeah, fast internet too. All right, there are a lot of things to do in the town. Before we talk about what you can do in the temples, we wanted to talk about that. Pub Street, like I said, that's the kind of the hub of the tourist area. It's lined with shops and restaurants and cafes, and you can sit and have a pint of beer or pizza, lots of pizza places.
You can go and do some shopping. It's not just souvenir shopping. There's other stuff around there as well. It's neat to go in the day and the night, and the nighttime it's all lit up.
Yeah, and the markets, we went to the Made in Cambodia market. There's a lot of places that you can shop at. There's several museums, a giant temple complex that we went to in there.
Yeah, and that's right in the heart of the city too. That I was really surprised. I saw the tops of it and we just kind of wandered in, and I was really impressed by what we saw in there. It was beautiful.
But you got to go see the flying foxes.
Yes.
They actually look like foxes. They are giant bats. They're fruit bats, so they don't eat meat. So I was worried about them carrying Amelia off there because they were so big.
Yeah.
But they don't eat meat. They eat fruit and some insects.
I thought the bats were freaking cool. They are not icky, like this guy kept saying, oh, they're creepy, they're creepy. No, they're not.
They are creepy.
It was neat as hell. I mean, they're like this big, hanging up out of those trees, and they're like squawking like crazy. It was amazing.
Yeah, their wingspans can get up to 4 or 5 feet, and just seeing thousands of them flying and squawking, it was a little creepy. And they're all gathered in this park right in the heart of town, and people come from all over to see the flying foxes. It's worth it.
It is totally worth it. I'm really glad we saw that. That was fun.
Yeah. On a more somber note, they do have a Killing Fields museum there that's, from the genocide in the 70s with Pol Pot. In fact, our driver on the way in from the airport, like one of the first things he says, you know who Pol Pot is? Are you aware that we had a genocide here? You should go see the Killing Fields. And we didn't actually do that in Siem Reap, but we went to the Genocide Museum in Phnom Penh. So make sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to see that. We're not going to talk a lot about it because it's really sad.
It's sad and
Yeah.
pretty horrific.
It is, but
The history is
but we
brutal.
are going to have a really good video about Phnom Penh. That city shocked us too, so
It
be
did.
sure to hit that subscribe button so you see that video.
And now for the most incredible thing I have seen since we went to the Roman Forum, and that is Angkor Wat.
I was 11 years old. I vividly remember this. My dad got the National Geographic subscription in 1982. I remember reading about Angkor Wat and wishing that someday I would be able to go there. And it took 42 years, but I finally made it. And it was even more incredible than I expected. Little JP would have his mind blown by this place.
Well, grown up Amelia, I was going to say big Amelia, but my mind was blown. It was unbelievable.
We hired a guy. He went by Mr. T. He was phenomenal. He was also a fantastic photographer. He took some really cool pictures of us. He's got a social media account of his own, so be sure to check below for that. If you're going to go there, we highly recommend hiring him to take you on a tour.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He was knowledgeable and fun, and he also helped us go to find some different places where the regular tourists don't go, so we had a great time.
I was able to get some shots of Angkor Wat with no people in it. I mean, there's so many tourists there generally, but there just weren't that many people when we went a couple days after Christmas. It was the Friday after Christmas, plus having him as our guide, he kind of knew where to take us, where most of the people don't go, and it was so cool. There were parts that sometimes we were there, I felt like we had the whole place to ourselves.
Angkor Wat translates to Temple City in the Khmer language. It was actually founded in 1150 as a Hindu temple, but then it was converted to a Buddhist temple by 1200.
It has a massive moat. I was shocked by the moat because we're talking 800-900 years ago that they built this, and they built this with no construction equipment, just hand tools and elephants, and they cleared this massive moat. It's 5 kilometers long or 3 miles long, and it's extremely wide, like 100 yards wide, and they pushed all of that dirt in to make the island where they built the temple. And our guide told us that all that water keeps pressure on the sand and the dirt so that it doesn't flatten out over time. It's crazy that they were able to build this. The whole complex, every flat surface up to about 10 feet high is carved with murals. All of the stone is carved, hand carved. It depicts like their wars, their battles. They have what he called their Instagrammers of the day, the dancers. They would do poses, and they were all over hundreds of yards of carved murals in this stone.
It's really popular to go there at sunrise, which we decided not to do because you have to get there or get up at 4:30 in the morning. That is a little too early for us. Plus, it can be really crowded at that time, but you might want to go and get those awesome shots of the sunrise or the sunset. And apparently, if you go during equinox, that is super popular, but you can expect a lot more crowds then.
The next stop on our tour was the Prohm Temple. That's where they filmed Tomb Raider back in, 2000, I think. And Amelia stood right where Angelina Jolie stood at so I could take her picture.
Yes, I did, but I wasn't really thinking about the movie. I was just in awe. This was so cool. So first of all, our guide, Mr. T, took us through the north gate, so we avoided the major tourist part in the beginning, and then we walked through the jungle a little bit on this path, and then we came up to this whole other structure that was out there by itself that was in the process of being renovated, and it was just beautiful and incredible. And then we went ahead and walked along the path, and then we got to the main part of the temple, which was just mind-blowing. I mean, it was just otherworldly. It is exactly what you think you're going to get when you want to go to archaeological ruins. I felt like we were on our own exhibition.
Yeah, like Indiana Jones. And
Yes.
I was glad I was wearing my hat. I just needed a whip.
Those trees growing, those massive trees growing out of the buildings. I mean, it was amazing to see the big smiling faces live and in person. You just can't. It's not the same as seeing it in a photo or on video. We're not doing it justice.
It's also carved with murals all over the stone, but there's two that people go to see because one is a stegosaurus, and remember this is like 800 years old, and the other shows a mural of the temple itself with the trees growing out of the top of it. This was before the trees were there, so we're not exactly sure how they saw that. I mean, dinosaurs wouldn't be discovered for another 600-700 years. So how did they know what a stegosaurus would look like, or that there would be these giant trees growing out of the top of the temple? So our guide said that he thinks that's proof that there's time travel is possible, that they went to the future, saw it, and then went back and carved it into the stone. I don't know if I believe that or not.
I don't know, but it's a really good story.
It is a good story. So when we left there, we went to the biggest temple complex called Bayon Temple. It's 9 square kilometers. That's 3.5 square miles. So it's much bigger than Angkor Wat. The moat on that one is 13 kilometers long, or 8 miles. They dug 8 miles of moat to make this temple. It's unbelievable to think about.
It is truly amazing. It was beautiful as well. We really had fun walking through there. And that one, the carvings were a lot different. It was interesting because it was depicting real life, because some of the other ones, it was more of the mythical battles. But this one, they depicted the real life battle and just everyday life in some of the carvings as well.
Yeah, our guide pointed out one that looked like a bar fight, like they had like overturned tables and they were fighting each other. He showed us one that looks like a hospital where a woman was giving birth. And so that's the kind of carvings they had in that temple.
And we got to see monkeys. There are monkeys running around there, literally running around and climbing up those trees. So that was really fun too.
If you want to do what we're doing, you want to live abroad or travel the world like this, and we created the Move Abroad Express e-course to show you how to do it, and it's still on sale.
Yeah, and it walks you through every step of the process so you can wrap up your old life at home and start up your new life abroad.
Plus, you're going to get lifetime access to our private, supportive expat community. There are people in there posting every single day. They post questions, they get answers, they support each other. It's really a fun community. So you're going to get lifetime access to that.
Scan this QR code here or check below for a link so you can lock in your discount now.
When we arrived in Siem Reap, we kept talking about how this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We honestly never thought that we would be going back there.
I know, and after spending time there, now we can't wait to go back. We really wish we would have stayed longer. So now it is high on our list of priorities when we come back to Southeast Asia.
Yeah, next time we're going to do the 3-day tourist package to go see the temple so we can really go and explore a lot more. And there are direct flights from both Kuala Lumpur and Bangkok. So it's really nice and easy to get to that new airport they have.
So what do you think about Siem Reap as a place to visit or live? Let us know in the comments below, especially if you've been living there. We would love to hear from you.
And remember to check out the Move Abroad Express e-course by clicking this link right here and lock in your discount.
And if you are interested in seeing more videos about Southeast Asia, then check out these videos next.
All right, guys, that's all we have for this one. Please leave us a like before you go, and we'll see you all next time.
Thanks for watching.
Ciao.
Ciao.